Hello and welcome to my tutorial. I'm going to be talking about how to arrange your palette using just a few colors. The primaries: red, yellow, blue, white, and black. And at the end you should be able to come up with a grid that's something like this. Let's kind of start a little introduction. Okay, so to begin with, these are the things that I'm going to be using. I do use Winsor & Newton oil paints, professional grade. How I arrange, or how I came up with the primary colors, is using printing, which is CMYK, which stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So the colors that I've picked for this tutorial, the primaries are what I consider to be fairly close. So cyan, I've got Pthalo Blue. Magenta, I have Permanent Rose. Yellow is cadmium yellow, or a cadmium lemon. Cadmium lemon is the one that I actually use. The cadmium yellow is a little bit warm. And for black, Ivory Black. And the white that I use is titanium white. So, and how I'm arranging the spread of colors is I use the rainbow or the prism, which is Roy G. Biv: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. I'm actually going to take out the indigo and I am going to add gray. And then lastly, how I'm breaking it down is I break it down into 5 values. So let's see how I'm going to do it. Here I've got it marked at the top: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and this is my gray. And then I'm counting these as white is 1, value number 1. The light gray is going to be 2, medium is 3, dark is 4, and then 5 is going to be black, which is not, can't really see that in here. Let's, okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, and then you can make as many boxes as you want as you add colors to these and experiment or whatever. So I've gone ahead and laid out my 3 primaries, which is Permanent Rose. That is a value 4. It's not as dark as black, but it's not a medium and it's not a light. The Cadmium Lemon is a value 2. And the Pthalo Blue is a value 4. So let's just hop right into this. What I'm going to do is I'll do the primaries first, and then we'll do the secondaries, and I'll do the gray last. But you can do them in any order that you need. And really, this is for the sake of making a chart so that you know like what all the colors do. But always keep in mind that whatever project that you're working on, if you don't have much rose, this is going to be pinks here. You know, if you don't have a lot of pinks, don't make up the pinks. If you only have a little bit of sky, which tends to be on the lighter side, then, you know, just do whatever it is that you need. So let's go ahead. Let's grab some white. Grab some white. So I'm going to get this the littlest, tiniest bit of the rose. A bit more. Just tiny, tiny bit at a time. Always keep in mind that the rose, and especially that blue, are very, very strong colors. The blue especially is highly staining. So I'm just adding a little bit at a time. When I think that it's coming to about the value that I want it to be, meaning how light or dark it is, I'm going to hold this over top of the yellow at the same angle as the paper. And if I squint and the edges seem to blend together, then I think that that's pretty good. I think make it just a tad bit darker. But you saw how I was getting a little bit at a time, a little bit. Because as soon as you decide to confidently grab a whole bunch of that color and put it in there, then you're gonna regret it, basically. But if I do kind of overshoot it, say that I grab too much, I'm like, oh no, that's way too much. What I can do is I can move that down into the one below it. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this white and put it back up in here. Probably still a little bit on the dark side. Lighten it back up a little bit. Just be careful that you don't use up all your white trying to lighten something up. If it's too dark, split it in half, move it down. There's no sense in using up all your color, especially if you don't need a lot of pink. Then all of a sudden you've got no white left because you've wasted it all trying to manipulate or adjust a color. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Remember when you are wiping your palette knife, like I'm squeezing it this way, but then I also take it from the edges because you might get a little bead of your paint that's on the edges there. So make sure that you wipe it both ways. So nice clean color. So next I'm gonna do the primaries. So okay, so in order to make the yellow darker, I am getting a clean brush, or a clean palette knife. I'm gonna add some black to it. It's probably too much. So let's just, oh yeah, that's a lot. Notice that that yellow is turning green. So yellow with that black makes a nice green, like an olivey kind of color, which I use a lot when I'm doing my landscape painting. But for this, I do not want it to be green. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, if you want to neutralize a color, if this is too green, the opposite of green is red. If you don't own a color wheel, get one or make one so that you can understand how these colors work. So by adding red to this, it's neutralizing it, so it makes it more, say, quote unquote muddy. But in actuality, there's not a whole lot of pure color in the world, so. Okay, so this yellow has black and it has red in it. See that it's turning a little bit orange. That's fine. But what I want to do is when I got enough of it, I'm going to hold it over top of this, over the mid pink that I have, and you can see that it is much, much too dark. So let's lighten it back up. Let's grab some yellow. Over top of this, squint, you can see how it's getting closer. Maybe it needs to be maybe just a little bit more yellow. We're pretty close though. Sometimes it's hard to figure it out exactly until you start painting, and then you're like, oh, I need to adjust that a little bit. So I think that's good. And then let's go down to here. So this is going to have a lot of black in it, because we need it to be just as dark as these here. Okay, and it is turning green, so I'm just going to grab just a little bit of red. Probably need a little bit more red. What I'm looking for when I'm making these 3 piles of paint, it's like a nice step from light to medium to dark, light to medium to dark. And you know, this is just the beginning as well, meaning that I don't necessarily use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values in my painting. I do when I'm first starting, but I can always adjust. I can always make something darker or lighter, but this is just the where to start from. Okay, so I'm going to leave this yellow kind of in a muddy green family. It is warm. You know, you might think that it looks really, really green, but you're going to see how that's going to change when we actually do make some green. And at the same time, when we make orange here, that's going to be the yellow and the red with some black. So this is yellow, red, and black. That'll be yellow, red, and black. But that one's going to be more brown. This one's going to be a little bit greener. And then this will be very green. So you're going to see that progression. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's wipe off my knife, both directions. You can see like that little bead of dark right there. That's from where it was beating up on the edge. Okay. Now the blue is a color that a lot of people don't like. So I'm getting, you know, just a few grains of sand. That much each time. Because like I said, if you overshoot it, it's harder to get back. So I want to just add a little bit. But always remember that if you do overshoot it and it gets too dark, just move it down into the next one. And I really like Pthalo Blue. It's a nice Carolina sky blue. A lot of people use cerulean in their skies. And I just say, why not just start with the Pthalo? Okay, that looks pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll hold it over top of the yellow and squint, hold over top of the pink and squint, because at the end of the day you want everything that row. If you hold any of them over any of the other colors and squint, they should all run together. Same thing with each row. Okay, let's jump in with that blue. You can see that, you know, I didn't get very much, but it's pretty powerful stuff. Okay. Much too dark. So what I was saying before is if I don't want to eat up all my white, what I might do is I might break this in half. I'm just going to move it down here for now. Normally it might move like in between these two. Go ahead and wipe this off. because I don't want to infect the white, because that blue, once it gets into stuff, it gets everywhere. Okay, that might actually be a little on the light side. So let's grab some of that, put it back in there. Okay. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. All right. Now let's get into the secondary colors. Those are all our primaries. Secondaries are going to be yellow and red. I'll make my orange. Probably best to start. Oh, look at that. Like already that's just like almost perfect. But I think I need some more of that. So because what I'm going to do is, because this is my mid-tone, yeah. And even with the because orange and blue are opposites, like you should still be able to squint, and even though there's going to be some vibration, they should still work together pretty well. So I'm going to move a little bit of that there. Yeah. Grab some of this yellow to lighten it up. But obviously I can never add enough yellow to that to make it the same value as that. So what I need to do is grab some white. A little bit more white. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Then down here, let's get a nice blood orange. And then throw some black in there. So hopefully the camera is picking this up, but you know, that's more brown. This is just the yellow, the red, and the black to make a brown, and the yellow, the red, and the black to make kind of a greenish color. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and make the green. Yellow and blue makes green. So yellow. It's way too much blue. Let's get most of it off there. Hold it for top, squint. I don't know, not bad. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Make the green up here. The same thing, I can't add enough yellow to it to actually match that because it'll always have blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this off, grab some white, Nice, pretty warm green. I think that looks pretty good. That's good. This one, I don't want any white in it. No white in this at all. Like for these, like I start out with yellow and red, add white to that, and this one's yellow, red, and black. Yellow, red, and white, yellow, red, and black. Yellow, blue, and white, yellow, blue, and black. So let's get into... Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. Okay. Looks good. Violet is just the red and the blue together. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grab some of this blue. Grab some of this red. Because remember, this is row 2, the light gray, you know, as far as values go. So I mean, I can mix any 2 colors or all the colors together, and it will always end up in this row. Violet. So I don't even have to check that against anything. Let's do this red, this blue. Yeah, very pretty violet color. And then let's grab some of this blue, some of this red. Okay, and I will warn you that this blue is a lot more powerful than this red. The blue is most powerful of all these colors, then red, and then yellow. Yellow is the weakest. So when I'm mixing up this green, mostly yellow and just the tiniest bit of blue. Tiniest bit of blue. This one I'm doing kind of half and half. You can see, wow, that's really good purple. Very blue purple. So if I need it to go a little bit more red in it, just pick up some more red. You know, adjust it to taste. I don't know, like my violet and your violet. You know, if you need it to be more red, then make sure you add more red. But my advice is to do a little bit at a time. Still very blue. A little bit more red. Okay, good. Then clean off my palette. My palette knife, really good. Let's grab some white. White. Just the tiniest bit of white there. Okay. Let's do the middle first. You can see that I'm pulling from the edges too whenever I'm pulling, like not from the middle. I'm trying to, so that I'm not polluting all of this. You know, put out your white and your black, especially in long rows, and then just pull from the edge. Don't pull from the center. Also notice I don't hardly have anything on this side of, it's all with the back side of my palette knife. So it's all, you know, smushing it around and scraping, try to keep it all on the one side. Let's see. Oh, see, that's way too light. you know, and it's too dark for that too. So I go ahead and wipe this off, grab some more black. Black's pretty powerful too, so be careful. I mean, my advice is always pick up as little as you can at a time. I know it feels like I'm wasting paint by every time I clean off my palette knife, but it's better to start out with these clean piles. Oh yeah, look at that. See how that is? Pretty close. I'm gonna call it. Okay. Oh, and I got this, get most of this off of here, and just what's left on my palette knife. Bring up here. Too light, too light. Just need a little bit more, so let's just scrape off a little bit from there, move it up. It's getting there, maybe a little bit more. Okay, I think I'm going to call that pretty good. Let's see. Yep, I think so. Pretty close, at least. Okay. And then this one's going to be mostly black with a little bit of white. I think that's pretty easy. Okay. And I'm going to call that done. So once you're finished, you should be able to look at it long ways, like across. And once you do it like this, then you can really see, oh, all these are light, all these are medium, all these are dark. If anything stands out, then adjust it. If there's some color in any of these that are like, oh, that's much darker than the rest of them, we'll fix it. So, okay. So, I don't know, is there anything that I missed here? Let's say, oh, yeah, so if you did add some other colors, I use sap green because I do stuff outdoors and it's a good mixing color for neutralizing things. I might do a line of sap green, or if you use a lot of purple, like a dioxazine purple or something, go ahead and do that. You can do whatever you want. You can try, like, what happens if I take the orange and I mix it with gray? Like, what color do I end up getting? But with any of these colors, okay? So I did write on top of this. This is a disposable palette, paper palette, which you can get from Jerry's or Dick Blick or any place like that. And I made this grid with a Sharpie. So that keeps everything nice and organized. It has its little boxes. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Okay? All right. Hopefully this was informative. If I'm going too fast for you, I have done this a whole bunch, so I know pretty much the speed that I need. Half an hour is good for me to mix up a whole bunch of different colors. But feel free to pause it, rewind, do whatever it is that you need to do. All right? Okay, thank you, and good luck.